Know you've been a good friend, and that's in the thick and thin, and I know it's never gonna end, 'cause you've been a good friend.
Well shit, look at me hopping on a train a day late for clicks, money and views. I guess I must be a real YouTuber now. March 27th was a night like any others. I mean, it was also the 94th Oscars, but I mean, who actually gives a fuck? Who shows up and attends those things? We both forgot. But something actually extraordinary happened. Something that you might describe as some IRL ratioing delivered with a classy little bitch slap. But before we get into that story, please remember not to send anybody mentioned in this video any hate or harassment or bullying or any kind of condescending comments. I do not approve, I do not condone, and that is not even worthy of a bitch slap. Besides the aforementioned context that we are at the Oscars, everybody's dressed for success, ready to snatch some wigs and some Oscars. Also, you need to know that the context in which our entire scene plays out is that Jada had announced in December on Instagram that she has alopecia.
Now at this point I can only laugh. Now y'all know I've been struggling with alopecia and
Another piece of crucial information is that this couple has been in the news over deeply private ass business. Some of the cringiest shit was when they actually sat at the red table talk and they discussed their relationship, which was fucking gross because none of us should be knowing this, but also the way in which they conducted it, it was terribly awkward for everybody involved. Either as a watching party, as I guess whoever filmed it, and then Jada dropped one of the most iconic lines ever.
I got into an entanglement.
An entanglement.
So that's what I guess boomers would call cheating. She had many of these entanglements. Either way, their choices, they can do whatever it was. The point that I want to carry across is that the public always knows and ridicules Will and Jada about their relationship and about stuff that they do in public because for some reason they haven't yet established a boundary with the public and with themselves. So we know their business, we meme their business, and it's usually always comedy. They seem to not care that much because they don't ever speak out about it or establish clear demarcated boundaries. I mean, even their daughter Willow said it was cool, so like whatever.
I want to put it on the table. I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
On Monday's new episode of Red Table Talk, Willow spoke highly on her parents' marriage, even calling it real love.
So the whole idea of them being offended when a comedian and long-term friend made a joke seems off. Considering, we all know their business and the lines, boundaries, and demarcations are not defined. They've never spoken out against the public knowing all of this. They've never even tried to hide it. They don't act ashamed or apologetic. So, there would be a consensus between them and the general public that their relationship and everything about them, it's public property, I guess. But, holy shit, would that be the wrong fucking idea? So what am I talking about? Alright, let's sit back and relax and enjoy the mightiest of falls of the empire which was once the Oscar ceremony, as well as a great long-term friendship between Chris Rock and the Smiths Also the fall of what was once considered a private, intimate relationship between Yada and Will.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win.
It was at this moment that Chris Rock decided to pull a G.I. Jane joke, which was obviously a reference to her alopecia and her balding head.
Please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it, all right?
You can see in his eyes the exact moment where it all went south. Look at her face. Look at that seethe, cope, and mold. This was akin to a wolf showing their fangs. Will didn't immediately get the joke because he got Chris's joke, but he had to retract his funny. Look at them.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Uh-oh.
Chris in turn realized that he done fucked up. And in an off-screen dialogue, which I assume was something like Yada asking Will Smith if she could seek a better entanglement, Chris recognized the fucked up shit and retracted.
Uh-oh.
We commonly refer to this move as the bro code when spotted in the wild. However, it was too late. Yada was fearless and crazier than him. She was his queen, and God helped anyone who dared disrespect his queen.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's it. That's the money shot. Let's see that again. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Will Smith bitch slapped Chris Rock at the 2022 Oscars on stage while they be wearing this drip. Holy shit, iconic, complete king shit. Okay, obviously our screen is still at the Oscars and shit barely even started, so awkwardly everybody had to carry on as if nothing happened. Chris Rock at least owned the slap with...
Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
And if you were watching the censored version on TV, then you mistakenly probably thought that this was the end of the fight. But Will wanted to make it known that Chris fucked around and found out. So in uncensored clip, we hear this shit screamed in the background.
Wow, dude. It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay.
Fuck, it ain't safe in these streets. Not even in a room with the top 1% dressed in suits and glam. So for a lot of people, this was the only reason they knew that the Oscars even happened this year. So articles, memes, and tweets were rampant absolutely everywhere. And something related to the Oscars managed to trend for the first time in a hot minute. So what followed was actually a spectacular display of defending Milady's honor. Well, apparently Denzel Washington decided to be a real homie and checked up on Will and gave him some solid advice. Will Smith ended up winning an Oscar 40 minutes later for the lead role in King Richard. He shed quite a bit of tears and actually gave a pretty inspirational speech, which absolutely included some insinuated references to the slappening we all just bear witness to.
In this time in my life, in this moment, I am overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be in this
He sorta apologized, but only to the Academy, cause fuck Chris Rock, and he told us what Denzel had said to him.
But Richard Williams, and what I loved, thank you, D. Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you.
I mean, it feels pretty sincere and heartwarming, and I genuinely don't think that the man who dealt with and survived being called a cuck by the whole world for a few years now is gonna be bullied into giving a fuck now. I mean, he was in the worst YouTube Rewind and the worst Aladdin. This man cannot be shamed into retracting any fucking thing. So, the Los Angeles Police Department confirmed that Chris Rock had declined to file a police report. A full statement from the LAPD reads, LAPD investigative entities are aware of an incident between two individuals during the Academy Awards program. The incident involved one individual slapping another. The individual involved has declined to file a police report. If the involved party desires a police report at a later date, LAPD will be available to complete an investigative report. Zero fucking consequences. And if anybody's still under the impression that Will somehow felt any sense of remorse or was upset by this chain of events or that any and everybody fucking saw this shit play out, well, this was literally him after he won his Oscars. Look at him getting jiggy with it. Now for the intellectuals out there. We clearly aren't allowed to have nice things. So a couple of debates ensued immediately. First was whether or not this whole thing was actually staged, since the Oscars is objectively boring and everybody loves watching black on black crime without interfering in it whatsoever. But I would say this is a bit of a hard sell, simply because neither person comes off with a clear W, and it seemed like a weird choice, a very, very weird choice. And I just also don't think the Oscars would fake something that is inherently violent when that is so clearly against their code of conduct that they even had to censor it when broadcasting it. I just think that it doesn't make a lot of sense from them. Maybe they would fake something more like a romance scandal, or I don't know, something more tame, you know? This is a bit too edgy for our Oscars. This is a bit too entertaining for the Oscars, in my opinion. And even though I cannot confirm or deny either which way, like we don't know, we don't have any proof, I would have to just say that I choose to live in a world where exciting things happen every now and then, and this is it. This is my truth. I am choosing it. Chris Rock got fucking bitch slapped by Will Smith for no clear reason. Fucking great. The second debate that ensued is people picking sides, you know, and making polls and ratioing the other side in order to pick basically not only who won, but who's objectively right between Chris Rock and Will Smith. So the Chris Rock side is saying that comedians should be allowed to joke about anything without the threat of physical violence. So, I mean, in an ideal world, sure. I've never really actually heard or seen of any situation or person that could literally say anything without any type of repercussion or backlash or counter argument of some sort. But yeah, obviously violence is the least ideal. I can totally agree with that. That should not be the norm. The Will Smith side, on the other hand, is saying that Chris fucked around and found out. He knew what he did, and that was not it. That was just not it. Will was simply defending his lady's honor, and it was clearly smeared. So even though these are the top two nominations, I actually have a third option that I just want to put out there. What if Jada was the one who decided that she was offended? And then she informed Will that a happy wife means a happy life. So he had to publicly ratio his long-term friend with a bitch slap to get wrecked because the house always wins. So yeah, she basically gave him an ultimatum through a stare and then made him do what he had to do to be the man of the house, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But if we only look at the first two options as it dominates current public discourse, we would have to actually know Will's motivations for this slap. So was it option A, which is that he was just blatantly offended and believes that this joke and this type of joke was an inappropriate joke to make as a rule universally? Or option B, did the man slap because that is the only correct action when your woman gets dragged like that, especially by a former friend? If it's the first, then Chris is being silenced as a comedian and restricted and threatened through physical violence. If it's the latter, then it's because of Will's personal values and ethics as a traditional man of the household, and if that's the case, then it means he had the balls to stick up to his own moral code regardless of the who, what, where, and when, i.e. the Will W. Thus meaning, if we know Will's motivations, we can objectively say who won. Now look, I don't care if you are hashtag Team Will or hashtag Team Chris or even hashtag Team Kanye West. But what I do want to know objectively, what I want us to argue about, the science of it all, the true winner, is whether or not you think the G.I. Jane joke was funnier than the slap. Which one actually won? Because comedy is why I'm here. I'm not here for 1%er and their problems. They can pay to make it go away. I want to know which comedy is the best so that we can meme it into the future. But look, I'll just add my 2 cents, and that is that at this point, Will has taken so many L's that nobody would even be surprised that if he just simply snapped. I mean, we all would have. Look, regardless of which side you agree with ethically, my position is that I decided long ago not to get offended or white knight for rich people that cause their own problems. I'm just invested in the memes, and holy hell were there memes. Most of these that I'm about to play are actually from comedians on Twitter, and I'll for sure link them in the description, so check it out.
Don't you ever speak about my wife ever again. Keep my fucking wife out of your mouth.
Okay.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
God, look at this fucking loser. Listen. If you cannot take a golden opportunity hand delivered to your eyeballs about the most memeable moment that has happened this entire year, because just imagine, right? If either person in the story was either a different race or a different gender, this would have been some serious shit. But now we are graced, we are honored to simply see fucking hilarity on screen. And you decide to make it serious. How fucking dare you? Ooh, breaking news. Will Smith just released an apology on Instagram. I don't know why he chose Instagram. How can we possibly meme and quote tweet and share the fuck out of this if it's not on Twitter? But anyway, it goes as follows. Violence in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. I would like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all of the attendees and everyone watching around the world, I would like to apologize to the Williams family and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been otherwise a gorgeous journey for all of us. I am a work in progress. Sincerely, Well. So you might be wondering, which side am I ultimately picking? Well, as a connoisseur of winning, I will obviously have to wait for Kanye to tell me who's winning. Duh! But as a thought with an opinion, I can't do much, but I can surely hit harder than Will Smith can. Pile. The Will Smith story is a cautionary tale. Not that of a man being cocked, not that of a man being embarrassed, but that of a man that has found out that even in rock bottom, you can still go much, much lower. So since celebrities have made it pretty much okay to settle their public disputes in physical violence, I suggest that it is now the perfect, appropriate and right time for Technicals and John Swan to have their duel to the death at VidCon. Comment below who you think will win.